I'm sure that most of you struggle every day to explain to your colleagues what you do, or what social innovation, what design thinking is. So this is a story of a car that if you think about the most tangible issue, or something that you can touch and represent real economy, is a car. So well, I'm going to tell you about the car, but as a way to talk about Basque social innovation and design thinking. Don't worry, I'm not an engineer, and I don't like particularly cars, so if you are not techie and you don't like cars, you can also enjoy this presentation. So this is a story that started a couple of years ago in Boston at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology at MIT, and where they have been working about these concepts, but just a couple of colleagues of mine were there visiting, and when they were checking with them all these ideas, they say, but who is going to make it real? And they said, I mean, nobody's so bold. It's not going to happen. So, and they say, well, I mean, we are good in the Basque country making things. So why can't we do this together? So 2 years later, this is a reality. But I'll tell you more about this later. Design thinking and social innovation tries to give new solutions to global emerging social needs. And if we analyze, that's what we have been doing, and a lot of people in the world in the last decade, the big trends we can see is that, of course, the big trends and the big problems are coming with those big trends: buildings, transportation. Just to check a couple of facts, 90% of population growth will be in urban areas in this century. 60% of the population is already living in cities. 80% of the wealth, 60% of urban energy use. And what is more scary is we normally, in congested areas, we use 40% of the total petrol trying to find a parking space. So this is a big problem. You know, we all know it's a big problem that is connected with a lot of different elements: private automobiles, public transportation, transportation first mile, last mile. That's actually transformed the cities that we are living in. This is a picture of Los Angeles, and the red marks are parking lots, parking spaces. So the whole city center is being occupied by public space that we need to park our cars. So this is what is going on today: pollution, congestion, and lack of public resources to address these issues. So the question is what design thinking and social innovation should be working on. Okay, so what is tomorrow? What is going to happen? How can we address these problems? So in Iriko, that also, by the way, Iriko is not a Japanese word, because here most of you know about it, but I'm sure that if some people later are watching this video and say, Iriko, you know, this guy is from the Basque region going to Japan. No, it's not a Japanese word. Iriko means from the city, and we think it's a great connection from the roots of one of the oldest languages in the world with a very modern project. So this is a projection of the future in Bilbao, where the Guggenheim is, and with these vehicles that I will tell you more about later. But what is really important for us is that the future will try to address those issues that we were talking about: population, pollution, congestion, in a way that is different, that is related. There is no solution to those problems individually. We need to find solutions that can actually, from a design thinking perspective, can actually give us also new solutions. So tomorrow, that is say today, because it's very near, tomorrow is just It's very close. So tomorrow, global cities will redesign the concept, the whole concept of mobility. And we see this happening already. If you want to go to London, if you're in London, in the city center, you want to drive your car, you have to pay a lot of money. So only people who can afford paying for that money can drive the car in the city center in London. But New York is going to do it as well. Many cities all around South America are limiting the days you can drive your car. And this is just the beginning. What is going to happen is, like all city centers, most of the big cities will limit the use of private cars because there's going to be no space apart from the pollution problem that is coming with it. So our private car there will be parked outside if you still want to use a private car. And then we will be using the public, the buses, the bicycles, the train, and new concepts that are already working. So the bicycle, the systems for bicycle sharing are booming all around the world. Some of them are working very well. Some others are facing more problems. But it is working because we want you to pay per use. It's the same as Spotify. It's the same as all new business models. The same thing for the car sharing and many other experiences. So the next step is we need to redesign the vehicle from that new perspective. If we are going to drive in the city center, if we are going to share the vehicles in the city center, we need to design the car for that purpose. We cannot use the old cars for new goals. So this is what happens if you think that way. You have a vehicle that is for 2 passengers because 90% of all movements in the city center are for 1 or 2 people. And it's a vehicle that has the engine on the wheels and it is capable of folding. So you can go out and access directly to the pedestrian road. This is a half-scale prototype, fully functional. So I can tell you that this is a reality, it's not just a video. And this is actually quite an old prototype. We already have a real prototype. But I'll tell you more about that later. So why do we want to make a car that is foldable? I mean, it's fun, it's very nice, of course, and that is a very important element. It's cool, as Americans say. But the really interesting thing is that if you compare that car, when it's not folded, it's more or less half size of a normal car, but when it's folded, it's actually, it occupies less space than even a smart car. And why do we want to do that? Because if we're going to park that car in the city center, we need to maximize the space that we are using for these new systems. So instead of parking 1 car, we're going to be able to park 3 cars in the same space. And of course, in the city center of New York, in London, that means a lot of money that we are saving for the community. So this is what we are doing. And while we were doing this, and because we were thinking from a different perspective, as I said before, there was a group of architects, engineers, urban planners, artists working on how to design a car. Then we also introduced more elements. Why do we want to make a big plant to make cars, as the big manufacturers do? So we need to produce a lot of cars and to sell a lot of cars because otherwise the whole system breaks. So why don't we use an IKEA system? Why don't we make different modules? That is what the bus companies are doing at the moment, each of them fabricating 1 module, and then we ship over the modules to the city that is going to use the vehicle. So we create mini assembly plants in each of those cities, and as well, we can create employment locally. For example, what we are doing now in Malmö in Sweden is that we are negotiating with the city to install the first mini assembly plant in the city, in the part of the city where unemployment rates are the highest in the city, about 80% of unemployment rate. So we want that car also to be an opportunity for business development in those areas. So that's what we are doing. But let me tell you that this is not the most important thing of what we are doing. Because the car is just an instrument of a totally different new system of mobility in the city. And that's what we are trying to do. We want to reinvent the way we work or we deal with our vehicles. And we want to start working in a different way. The system is known as mobility on demand. So mobility on demand tries to give a solution as well to the problem of the bike programs. The bike programs have a problem that everybody moves from the same place to this, mostly from the same part of the area to the same part of the area, and there are problems to redistribute the bicycles. You probably have problems finding a bicycle when you wanted to get one, and then there is a truck who has to go at night collecting all the bikes to put them in the same place. So what we want to do is we want to introduce a system that creates incentives while you are driving. So if you want to pick up a car when there are a lot of people and not a few cars, it will cost you more. If you want to take a car in a station where there are more cars and less people, it will cost you less. So that's the simple way that is going to work. In a more complex way, you will get your telephone, say, I am at work, I want to pick up a car to go to this other part of the city. You're here, you want to go there. So you book with your telephone, I want to get a car, and the system will tell you have two options. You can go to this station that is 2 blocks away on your left, but there are a lot of people and only a few cars. While there is another station 2 blocks on your right where there are cars, but there is a few people. So if you take the car here, it will cost you less, and you can take that car to 2 different stations. If you take the car to where people are waiting, then it will cost you much less, and then there you can walk to your end trip destination. This system can actually work in a way that if there is a football match and everybody wants to go there are all these people waiting for cars. If you take this car there for another person to use it, the system can even pay you to do that. You can even employ people to move the cars around the city. So this is what we are trying to do. We are trying to create a new system of mobility in the city that is associated also with new business models. What are the opportunities here? The opportunities are huge, and probably we still don't know the scope of this new activity. But for example, this application that already exists will tell you, okay, you have different options to go from point A to point B. The fastest is maybe not the best option for you because there's traffic. So I'll give you an alternative route. And then if you take an alternative route that it will help the whole system, it will cost you less. But also, we can introduce new partners. If you park the car at McDonald's, McDonald's will pay for your trip. So the idea is that the user is not paying for the trip, that there is a new activity around the whole system that will pay for our trips. Let me give you a very basic example. I want to rent an apartment in Bilbao. So when I get my car, I want the car to tell me which apartments are available in the area while I am driving. I want that information in my telephone, all the apartments that are on rent, what is the price, pictures of the apartments, and that trip will be paid by the agency that is renting the apartments. So this is what we are doing. But if we want to go a little bit farther, these systems will probably influence the rest of the city. And this is the next step. This is a design of Ken Larson, our partner at MIT Media Lab. And this is the building that we are hoping to have in Bilbao soon for these vehicles. This is a modular home that actually the whole space inside can change and can be adapted to the necessity of the person that is living in the apartment during his life. So if you want to create more rooms, you could just move the walls inside the building. But what is interesting is, do you really want to have your own car if you are living in the city center? Or would you like to share your car with the rest of the people living in the building? Because if you do it that way, then you can just use the first car available that is in the parking in the parking lot. So, well, this is the concept. This is what we are working on, but it's not the future in a very long time. At the moment, IRICO has already produced the first real-scale prototype car that will be presented probably in January. But what we are doing now is partnering with global cities that want to implement this new system. Because for us, the most important thing, as I said before, is not the vehicle. It is the concept that is coming associated with the vehicle. And sometimes we say that we are probably the only car manufacturers in the world who want to take the cars out of the city. So this company, what is actually formed by existing Basque companies, is already signing agreements with global cities. We have already signed the agreement with Berlin and with Malmö in Sweden. We are going to sign the agreement in the next few days with Barcelona, San Francisco, and Quito in Ecuador for testing on real environment how this system is going to work. So during next year, the car will be tested in real environment on those cities, and we will be able to present to the world a new system. Do you really want to keep using private cars in the city center the way you are doing it? Or do you want to try something else? If you want to try something else, this is a good opportunity. So we'll see. Well, I'll tell you next year. Thank you.